Okay, everyone, greetings. This is Julie Legg with Julie Legg Photography, and this is the second video of my jean jacket tutorial. And we're going to start off right away and just right click on your mouse, edit in Photoshop CS6 is what I am using. It takes us out of Lightroom and brings my photo in. I'm really excited to start working on this photograph. I really like the concept, the idea. I'm going to anchor that on there and move some of my guys over. I'm still dealing a little bit with my cold, so I'll try not to sneeze into the microphone. So here we are in Photoshop, and one of the first things that I want to do is right over here. I want to get rid of this mixed blues tag because I don't have permission to use it and I'm not advertising for them, so I need to remove that from my photograph. I'm going to go over here to the content aware tool, and one of the tricks I've learned with using this tool is as you circle around the area that you want to remove, if you grab a little bit extra of the background that you want it to select, because sometimes you could be kind of close up to another area that you don't want it to include, and I've found that if I just drag further down in the area that I do want it to use as it decides what pixels to include, then that seems to work better. And I go to my keyboard and I do Shift F5. It brings up this dialog box. Make sure it's on content aware. Click OK and wait for the magic to happen. Go away, mixed blue. So that didn't work too well. Sometimes you have to, that's Command Z, try it again. Maybe I don't need to select that much. Maybe I'm just going to stay in close and see if that works. Shift F5, OK, go away. There, that's much better. There's still some funkiness going on there, but that's what the stamp tool is for. And if I hit Option Control on my Mac and drag my mouse to the right, that will make my brush size bigger or smaller. And I hit the number 0 on my keyboard, and that makes my opacity to 100%. If I hit 5, it makes it 50. That's just a quick way to get to your tools. So I'm going to get off to the right here, hold down the Option key, and kind of fix this little guy. And try to make it look as natural as possible and as random as possible. Sometimes when you use the stamp tool, it's not as random looking. And it does kind of have a softness in there. It kind of looks like it's been retouched, and we can fix that, but I want to go over here and fix this first. I'm going to once again hold down the Option, just trying. Command Z. You can blend in things by going to a lower opacity on your tool, and I made it from 100 to 50, and it just kind of blends things in a little better. So what I'm going to do, if I hold Command and the space bar, that'll put up the magnifying glass so I can zoom in. You can see it has a retouched look to it. And one thing I forgot to do, I always work on a separate layer, Command J, because I want to keep my background layer untouched. So anyway, going back, if I take the lasso tool and I circle around the area that I retouched, And if I go to filter noise, add noise, then I can play around with this and add some noise in there to make it blend in. And you can just play around between Gaussian or uniform. Uniform looks better. And click your preview on and off. You want something subtle, and I think that's nice and subtle. And I think that helps. I don't think anyone's going to notice. Still has a little bit of a retouched look. One other thing I can try is the burn tool. Maybe it just needs a little shadow on there. And I'm just going to stay at midtones at 10%, and voila. I think that works real good. I'm just going to use my stamp tool at 70% and maybe just get rid of this guy. This guy's what's bugging me. It keeps attracting my eye. See, that's better. That'll do. Who knows? That may be cropped off over there. There we go. There's just a little bit of a highlighted now. This is my whole problem. Okay. I'm just trying to blend it in. That's not too bad. But this area over here is a little bit lighter. Okay. I'm going to try to live with that now. Okay, so now what do I want to do? Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and Command E, go ahead and put that down, flatten it, Command J, start on a new layer. I'm just going to play around with some different looks. And it's just playing around, kind of a hazy feel. I kind of feel hazy today. And see what happens. And then I'll just click off and on, and then I can always play with the opacity. I kind of like that feel. I'm going to Command E that down. Just gives it a different feel. Oh, I know what I want to do. I have some actions. Where did I hide my actions? I think I have it in another workspace. I have different workspaces. Just go to Window, Actions, and just bring it up. I have some Sarah Gardner actions that I might just play with. And I don't think it was, well, let's just see what that does. You select it and you hit play and it runs the action. Oh, it just did what I just did. I don't need Sarah Gardner. I can do that myself. I don't know if I want to add to it or... I'm going to take that off, throw it away, see what this one does. Don't want that. Trash it. Peach punch, that sounds interesting. No, I don't want that. Cherry pot, probably just makes it more red. Yes, and I don't want that. She has some other actions in here that I like. Soft blur. Let's see what happens when we do that. soft blur. Need to go on top. I guess I'm supposed to paint in the blur, so I'll hit B for brush. Option Control, enlarge my brush. 0 to make it 100% to see if is this doing anything. And then where's my tool? Over here, I need to, if this is black, this needs to be on white. White reveals, black conceals. So let's, yes, nice, soft light. I like that. See, that covers up that mess over there that I don't like. And it's on a mask so that you can always add or subtract as you desire. Just kind of go surround my little leaves, and then I'm going to, you can see on your mask any areas you need to clean up that you didn't get. May go at 50% on the leaves. And then I might just undo the leaves because I kind of want those to pop a little, but everything else around them, and I like this button, kind of want that to be sharp. And then go hit X again and go back to white and maybe paint some more. Oops, Command Z, paint some more just in here and there. In this area. Interesting. There's some areas up here that are captured. I wonder where that is. That's good enough. Okay. Do I like that? I kind of do, but I might want to pull it back just a little. And another thing I want to do underneath this layer, which I should have done first, is add some blur. So I'm going to hit Command J, call this layer blur. This one I will go filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just pump it up to wherever you would like. I'm going to go right there. And so I have a blur layer on top of my regular layer, and it's underneath the soft light, which is where I want it. And I'm going to hold down the Option key on a Mac and click on this mask tool, and that will fill this mask with the blur. And so that will enable me to paint in my blur, and I can put my brush at whatever opacity I want. And I'm going to start with an opacity of 80 because I'm going to work from the outside in. So I want the outside to have the most blur on it. I'm just kind of going in circles here. Alright, and then I'm going to go down to 50%, maybe kind of blur in a little more. And then I might go to 20% and change my brush size. Just kind of paint in here along the edges of my leaves. Then go down to 10% and just paint in there a little bit. And just blend it in nicely. And then what I usually do is pull back the opacity on this because I've usually gone too far, and just dial it in to where I like it. Maybe 76 is pretty good. I just like softness in my photographs. I like over here how this leaf is soft on the edge there. I like that. Maybe work some more over here. Yeah, this is fun. Okay, so I've got that, and I've got my soft blur. Let's see, soft light, soft blur on top. Let's see if I want to keep that. Ooh, I like it right about there, 37, 38%. Okay, so I like that. Now, what I like to do is have a contrast of blur and sharpness. And so what I want to do is put sharpness onto some areas of these leaves and the button and the stitching on the jean jacket. Wouldn't that be cool? So in order to do that, I need to create another layer. It's called like a stamp layer because you can't work on top of this layer with the mask. So you go to make a new layer, you go Shift Option Command E, Shift Option Command E, and it puts a new layer on top that you can work upon. And then I am going to Topaz Labs, Filter Topaz Labs, and I have Topaz Detail, which I really like. I use it a lot when I want to create detail in certain areas of my photography. Use it a lot in my architectural photography. It will pump up my image and take it to the next level. And there's so many choices here too. Sometimes it is overwhelming, all the choices that you have as an artist, but that's what makes it fun too. So here I am in Topaz, and it's blinking at me for some reason. I'm going to ignore that and go into Creative Detail Collection, and I'm just going to look through the thumbnails and see if there's anything that might work. It's kind of hard to tell looking at it through here. I'm sure it is on the screencast too. Overall detail medium looks interesting. Strong. And I'm going to go, let's try strong. And I'm going to zoom in to 100% and see the effect it's having. That's kind of too much. I'm going to zoom in to 50%. And you can hit the space bar and it turns the effect off and on. What I'm going to be doing is it's going to put the effect on the entire picture, but I'm going to create another black mask so I can paint in my detail. I like what it's doing on the button and on the leaves. You know what I also need to do is retouch my leaves. But I can do that after, since I'm already in Topaz. I can do that after I put this on. Let's undo that and see what Strong 2 does. That's kind of a neat effect. I think I want something that might be a little too much because then I can dial it back to where I want it. And I'm not going to fool with the controls over here. I just want to use the preset. So I'm going to go with that. And there, it's put it on. And if I go to Option and click the layer mask again, there it is. The detail has been created in the mask. And I'm going to Command plus to get my leaves big enough to see, and I'm going to use my pen tool and tablet again. Make sure I'm on the brush tool, hit the letter B, and then Option Control to the left because I want to do some detail work here. And I'm going to go in at 60%. I'm going to paint in some detail. Make sure over here that the white is on top so I can reveal what's in my black mask. And I'm just coloring in. It's just like a coloring day. And I don't want to go all the way to the edges. I want those edges that have that softness on it to stay soft. I'm going to get the button. I want that 100%. And I want to get this leaf in here. And the stem. And the jean jacket right in here. Very cool. I'm going to hit X and make the black here because I want to take out some of it there. It's like right in here is going to be soft, and then you continue on with the detail. Hit X to get back to the white, and I'm going to keep painting. And one thing that really can take your work up to the next level is paying attention to edges. That's kind of what we're doing here. We are making sure our edges are sharp in specific places because it will just make things pop. You can see if I hit Command minus to bring it back down, and watch me, I'm going to click on this sharpening layer off and on. You can see how it just makes those leaves pop, but it's blended in. I think, and, you know, there's still some softness on the edges of the leaves, but sharpness right in this area, and I like that. Very good. I'm going to hit Command S to save, to make sure I don't lose anything if I get struck by lightning. And that's where I'm going to end the lesson today. In the next lesson, I might be doing adding a texture, or I might play around with the saturation on the leaves, but I don't know. So you have to come back next time, but I'm for sure know I'm going to be putting texture over this layer, over this photograph. So you can come back and check that out, and I'll see you next time. Thank you again. This is Julie Legg with Julie Legg Photography. Let's gather beauty together.